So as I was saying, I haven't streamed for over a week now on my own channel for reasons that you follow me on Twitter should be fairly obvious, and reasons that I don't particularly want to go into today. It's not really the time or place. But for those of you watching on YouTube right now, please do keep in mind, we will be returning. I promise, we will definitely be returning to our primal alt, a little chungo for the 5.0 MSQ playthrough. I think we're somewhere in Rang. I think we've repaired the trolley, and we're just about to head into all of those shenanigans with Ranjit hacking, suplexing the trolley or whatever. So we'll be returning to that shortly. But we're here today to do the 5.2 MSQ on my main here, who's on Odin these days, actually. So we're going to do that. If we've got time to, we will also do the Ruby Weapon stuff today and start on the Kitari quests. I also really want to do that post MSQ wrap up of the Eden chapter, because I know there's a bit of stuff in there. But chat, please, no spoilers. No spoilers today. I've only done Eden. We can talk about Eden later when we do like that Eden wrap up quest. We'll do that straight after the MSQ, so we can talk about it then. Please, no 5.2 spoilers yet. We'll talk about it when we're done. Okay. Alright. You asked the other day that Sid must have a suit of Magitech armor that important Garleans have somewhere. I don't know, because he's not military. He's not military personnel. He's a scientist. He was Sid Nan Garland. So he was a citizen. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a non-military citizen. I don't know. My brain's not working. No, civilian's not the word I'm looking for. That might be the word I'm looking for. Civilian explains it, but yeah, non-combatant. Yeah. That would be cool if he did, though. I mean, he doesn't need it. Like, he's got the one that he made for us, and he's got the Excelsior, and what does he need a Magitech mount? All right, let's do it. Tataru, what's up? In K for the Scions, we've made more than a few new allies. Wait, since when did you sound like this, Tataru? I'm sure they'll be used to the future once everyone's back safe and sound. That's a little better. I think she was kind of like Cockney. All right, Krell. Old enemies, new threats. I'm seeing Raubon. I'm anticipating Daddy being a part of that one. Maybe we'll actually get to have a proper conversation with him. Let's see. Ethys. My, what a pleasant surprise. If you've come to inquire after the Archons, fear not. Master Matoya's treatment has proven effective in stabilizing their corporeal ether. We mustn't grow complacent, however. Potent though these magics may be, they are not without limits. We can only hope they afford us enough time for the Crystal Exarch to complete his work. If only we could go with you to the first and help. Pardon the interruption, but I come bearing urgent news. Who could this be? Ah, Maxima. Ah, Ethys, it has been far too long, my friend. Likewise, you fake Ellison boy. Forgive me, I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Maxima, former Garlean ambassador. I remain here in Eorzea under the auspices of Commander Aldin, offering what counsel I can in the hopes of resolving the present conflict with the Empire. Ah, yes. I have heard stories of a defector from Garlemald, but never mind that. You said you have urgent news. Indeed. As you may have heard, the Imperial capital is in turmoil, and a sizable portion of the Garlean forces have been recalled from the Gimlet Dark. With their numbers so greatly diminished, the main host of the Alliance has withdrawn, leaving the Alamegan resistance to keep watch over the border. And it is there that we have welcomed a most unexpected visitor who claims that this de-escalation may belie growing dangers and unforeseen threats. Oh, we know who that is. Commander Aldin has arranged for an impromptu meeting to discuss these revelations. He's also requested a representative of the Scions to attend as well, though it was clear to whom he wished to extend this invitation. Well, Maxima, I mean, it's only me and, like, the B team left. And I feel like I'm just about the only person that actually cares about the B team, so I guess it's me. It would seem time is of the essence. Hey, can I take Arenvold with me? Or, like, Colton A? That'd be pretty dope, having a little excursion with Colton A. Well, you'll not be attending this meeting alone. Though I'm not as well versed in the affairs of city-states as our comrades, I see no reason to burden a single scion with all this. Yes, of course. Then we must make for the Alamegan quarter with all haste. Well, what are you waiting for? Get going, you two. Also, another thing, guys, I'm probably sounding a bit like croaky and raspy today. So the voices might be a little bit subdued. Tal has been, like, really sick the last couple of days and has been coughing and sneezing all over me, which is lovely. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of on the cusp of it myself. So hopefully we'll be able to smash through all of this 5.2 content the next couple of days before I end up bedridden. But yeah, if everyone's sounding like a smoker today, then I don't know, we can just pretend that it's something to do with the thinning of the ether, the umbralization of the source has left everyone a little bit croaky. Okay? Alright, okay, cool. Cool. With Riol now in the field, I was asked to return to make up for his absence. Alas, Ori and the others were unable to accompany me. Oh, I'm sorry, Colton A. I don't think Isildur has gotten up for like 3 years from that table. I confess there is not a great deal I could do myself, but I am no less determined to do my part, which is why I've focused my efforts on recruiting others to join our cause. You needn't concern yourself with affairs here in Eorzea. The situation at the Gimlet Dark is well enhanced thanks to the Alliance, and our efforts in containing potential primal threats have proven more than effective. Alright, Alamegan Kvater. Let's do it. There we go. Feels like it's been a hot minute since we've been in the locks, huh? Isildur is just waiting for the One Ring. I mean, it's not the same spelling, but yeah, that's kind of what I think every time I see his name as well. Oh, that's embarrassing. Look at this. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get on it. Wait, can I look out from up here? Nope. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ethys, come on. Come on. Alright, fine. Let's see if I can jump to it. Alright, 1 attempt. I'm not going to waste any time with this. Hey, there it is. Slash lookouts. Okay, that's number 52. So, my attitude with sightseeing logs is I've read them all on Gamerscape. So I'm not as much of a completionist with actually finding them as you might think, knowing me. But there you go, the Alamegan Quarter number 2. The Peregrine Quarter. All this cheating. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Terrible. Alright, Maxima. Kryl, what's up? Much has changed since the first time we set foot in this city. Now we strive to preserve their freedom rather than reclaim it. But we've no time to reminisce. We mustn't keep the commander waiting. I imagine Kryl's probably got some pretty awful memories, considering it was, like, literally just up there that she was, you know, kept in a Pokeball. Commander Aldin awaits us in the Royal Palace, if you would follow me. Oh, yes, there he is. Man, Rabot is being awfully cordial here, isn't he? Alright, everyone shut up.
They're here, Commander.
And I, for one, am grateful that they are. Told you've been busy since our paths last crossed at the Gimlet Dark. Not that I understand half of it. When the Scions spoke of other worlds, I'd struggled to describe what I pictured. Mayhap things would seem clearer were I to hear the tale from your own lips. But I'm afraid the situation will not afford us that luxury. I trust you two require no introduction.
We meet again, hero of Eorzea. Must we repeat this ridiculous display? I pose no threat to you, though what I come to warn you of very well might.
Had he meant to do us harm, I hazard he would have kept to the shadows, and brought more than 2 companions. We need not pretend to be the best of friends, but I hope we can put aside our differences for the present.
As you are doubtless aware, Sir Estinian and I cooperated to rid the world of Black Rose in your absence.
You're fucking
Our
welcome.
journey together took us as far as the Imperial Palace, where we witnessed Emperor Varus meet his death at Xenos' hand. Being the sole witnesses to this crime, and in no position to defend our innocence, we were then forced to flee, each pursuing his own avenue of escape. When we were later reunited, Estinian claimed to have encountered an unfamiliar kind of machina during his flight, but to me his description seemed anything but, and upon further investigation I found that I was right. The Empire is developing a new Ultima Weapon.
What, that Allagan monstrosity, created to vanquish primals, with which you yourself once thought to conquer Eorzea?
The same. In my foolishness, I sought to harness its power, and became the Ascian's pawn in so doing. But you know as well as I how that tale ended. The weapon itself, excavated from beneath this very city, was destroyed ere we could fully unravel its secrets, and that should have been the end of it. But unlikely as it sounds, the Empire's efforts to recreate it have somehow borne fruit, primarily through secret research conducted by the 7th Imperial Legion, it would seem.
Wait, the 7th was all but annihilated at Cartano, along with its legatus.
Yeah, like, the 7th Imperial Legion is gone as far as we knew.
Indeed, few survived. The 7th, as it is now, has little in common with the Legion led by Vandanis, and its leadership has changed hands several times since.
Yeah, because we were under the impression that a lot of the 7th had kind of been like vicariously tempered, and the few that weren't kind of folded into the 14th.
Precisely how this project has continued despite such turmoil, and under whose auspices, remains a mystery.
Oh, of course, it's the 7th Legion the 2020 remake. Yeah, the HD remake of the the 7th Imperial Legion.
What we do know, however, is that a number of prototypes have been produced, and that one of them is on its way to Eorzea.
I'm glad to know I was right on the money about my speculations here.
We attempted to stop it, but it was all we could do to slow its progress, so we resolved instead to bring you warning.
And right glad are we that you did, though it soundly dashed our hopes that tensions might ease at last.
As it is, we've begun to strengthen our presence in the Gimlet Dark. and are assembling a force to meet the coming threat. A force with you in its vanguard, I hope. Before you say anything, I know full well you have pressing concerns of your own. Your comrades remain in peril, and I would not ask you to forsake them. But the fact remains that you and you alone have faced the Ultima Weapon and emerged victorious. We need you. And so, when the time comes, if your comrades can spare you, I bid you lend us your strength. I've assigned an officer to await your word.
The Ascian's downfall was to be the work of my remaining days. But it was my hand that kindled these flames, and I cannot allow them to spread any further. I will do what I must to see this mistake consigned to history once and for all. Even if it means begging your aid. The fates will enjoy the irony, even as I endure the ignominy.
A hot-head sub gives me a big old chuckle.
I really thought I had notifications muted there.
Eager though they seem in such company. Mayhap we shall meet there anon.
So apologies for kind of derailing that very tense moment there, but Steph, thank you very much for 11 months. Thank you.
Though we can ill afford to ignore the coming of a new Ultima Weapon, our friend's plight grows ever more precarious, and none save you can join them in the first. I only hope you are not forced to make a choice.
Oh, jeez. Man, oh, I'm so tempted. I know we're already committed to doing the MSQ first, but I'm so tempted just to take a right turn here and go into Ruby Weapon first. All right, let me go over to Streamlabs, because it seems like maybe there's something up with my stream deck and the button that I've got to mute notifications is not working. So let me just remedy that real quick. Real quick. General settings, subscription alerts, sound volume, 0%. Save settings. Alright. No, it's not your fault, Steph. I really appreciate the resub. Don't get me wrong. Alright, Crowell. As ever, the way forward is paved with difficult decisions. We can ill afford to ignore the threat of a new Ultima Weapon. With each passing day, the plight of the Scions grows ever more perilous. If you cannot stay for a debriefing on the Ultima Weapon, I will not stop you. I only ask that you confer with me before returning to the first. You know, I've seen it. One of the groups that was doing the World First proc on our World First race event took a sideline to go and farm Ruby weapons to beat the Enrage for E8S. So I've seen it. I know what's up. I know what happens, and I've like figured out what that's about in my head, and I really want to go and do it so that we can talk about it. But I'm not. Hopefully later today. And guys on YouTube, I will definitely be playing through that in a separate video, because I want to make sure we've got all that story as well in parts over the course of this expansion. We'll see it soon enough. Oh, thank you, Reelsball. That's kind of you to say. I take it you're ready to return to the first. Then I would ask that you apprise the others of recent events here in the source, namely Xenos' return and the development of a new Ultima Weapon. As for their bodies, you may assure them Master Matoya and I will continue doing what we can to keep their corporeal ether stable. Safe travels, Ethys. I hope to see you and the other Scions soon. I gotta say, knowing that it was the it was 7th Legion remnants that developed it makes a little bit more sense. But once again, we will come to that in due time. I'm very, very excited. Try to replicate my first reaction. Oh, don't worry, I saw it like 10 times. My reaction was the same every single time. I was pog champing so hard. I don't know if anyone clipped it. Maybe someone clipped my first reaction of it from the method stream. But yeah, if so, I don't know. Maybe we can try and dig that out. Hey, Kuro, thank you very much for that sub. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much, my friends. Who did I think developed Ruby? I wasn't sure. I didn't know. I thought that it was going to be based on information from the 14th, like Nero's notes. I didn't think Nero was going to be involved here, but I think it was going to be like based on his notes and going to be also partially based on you guys remember, like, we originally went into Coil because the Empire was trying to get into it, like the 14th Legion was trying to breach into it to sort of uncover whatever Allagan secrets they could. So I would have thought it was going to be based on like stuff that they found as well in relation to a particular someone. But like I say, we'll come to that. We will come to that. Come at a most opportune time, my friend. I have made something of a breakthrough in my research on the soul and a means to return the Scions home. I trust you two have been making good use of your time? Oh, definitely. Ill tidings from the source, you say? Then I will summon the others, that we might all be apprised of the situation. Oh, well, I appreciate it very much, Kura. It's very kind of you.
Now that we are all here, what news from the source?
Yeah, Gaius and Nero coming face to face is long overdue, as far as I'm concerned.
Ultima Weapon. We must count ourselves lucky that Gaius has pledged his assistance.
While this is indeed a worrying development, I think the state of the Empire as a whole greater grounds for concern. With the Emperor slain and Xenos returned, it is impossible to predict how matters will unfold in Garlemald. The Ultima Weapon may be but the first of many unpleasant surprises.
The situation beareth closer observation, of that there is no doubt, and doth compound our need to return unto the source.
Then let us address that issue. Our long search for a means to see you safely home may well be nearing its conclusion. Thanks in large part to Urianger and Beklug's invaluable insight, we have succeeded in fashioning a vessel for the journey.
Hell yeah.
We set out to create a crystalline container retaining the more useful properties of white auracite, but without its regrettable limitations. And after a good deal of trial and error, we made one. An ark for soul and mind both that will allow your incorporeal self in its entirety to be ferried between worlds. A spirit vessel, if you will.
That's performing the same function as a crystal of light or crystal of darkness.
However?
Though the vessel is possessed of the requisite qualities to hold mind and memory, it wanteth yet for a means to receive of them. For that, we must needs imbue it with the Exarch's innate gift.
A gift that lives on only through the blood of the Allagan Emperors. which certainly does not flow within auracite or any other crystal.
Just so, milady. The blood serveth as a conduit of sorts. In its absence, memory cannot pass from mind unto mind, nor from flesh unto crystal.
Okay. So, the Allagan blood is like specifically a conduit crystal. Ergo the crystal tower.
That being the case, we must either alter the process of inheritance so as to require no such thing, or determine a means by which my blood may permeate the vessel.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a kind of ad hoc explanation to create some drama, some tension that we haven't seen yet. Interesting. Hey, Tony, thank you very much for the resub, by the way.
I am hopeful that the records found within this tower will yield the knowledge we require to pursue one or the other of these avenues.
As well you should be. The Allagan's body of etherological research is extraordinary. I can scarce believe it the work of ages past. But its underlying principles are not so very different from those of my own field of study. Given time, we will find the answers we seek.
I know that you can ill afford to wait, and it pains me that I must ask you to do so. I can only reaffirm my promise to you that a solution will be found. Whatever it takes, I will see you safely home.
Well, it's not just Allagan blood. In general, it's specifically something about the blood of the Allagan royal line, which was altered and imbued into them at some point, presumably at the creation of the Crystal Tower, so that they could control it, and they alone.
I do hope you haven't come to tell us that mortal peril fast approaches.
And Princess Selena, who was basically the last of the royal Allagan line, was the one that basically found a way to imbue one of her friends with that gift, who was Mikote, and basically was going to be like beyond reach, beyond suspicion as a result.
No, I had hoped to speak with the Warrior of Darkness. But there is no need to cut short your meeting on my account. I will be waiting outside.
Emmett did know about stuff like this. The only stuff he didn't know about with the Crystal Tower
I don't mind. Unless she didn't want to.
Was the stuff that the Ironworks, the future Ironworks, did to it.
Perhaps I might accompany you. Though I am woefully ill-qualified to assist in the Exarch's research, I may yet be of some use to Lena.
There's a lot to unpack there. Okay, so what was done to the Royal Allagan blood, it seems, was not so much like associated with the Crystal Tower specifically, as in like, you know, the core of the Crystal Tower, but Crystal in general? Gives them an ability to sort of pass their mind and soul into and through Crystal? I mean, it makes sense of Graha's transformation, certainly. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be sort of like coming out of nowhere a little bit at the moment. It may simply be my imagination, but Lena has been rather brusque with me of late. You don't suppose you're still upset over that mishap with the salmon fillet, do you?
Never have I seen such a repository of knowledge. A stark reminder what little we truly know of the world.
Upon White Orside's crystalline foundation, we have built not a prison, but a refuge for the soul. The Moonbreeder were here to see the wonders inspired by her research. Oh, poor Moonbreeder. To think we will not only have Xenos to contend with once we return, but a new Ultima Weapon as well. Why must all of our enemies insist on returning from their graves? Y'shtola is the Final Fantasy XIV fandom right there. I must confess, while I enjoy my fair share of scholarly research, it would be good to step outside for a spot of fresh air. Now then, should we go and speak with Lena? I really, really hope my voice lasts the next 4 or 6 hours or however long this is going to be. Apologies again, I'm definitely like on the cusp of this sickness here. I suggest we hurry. Lena does not strike me as one who enjoys being made to wait. Dude, she's right here. Like, that's kind of rude.
We have little time, so I will be brief. A Sin Eater has been sighted in Lakeland, and I ask for your assistance in slaying it.
You what? A Sin Eater? I had heard some few yet remained after the knights had returned, but perhaps we should call the others.
That would not be necessary. It is only a single Sin Eater. A simple task for our guard, I should think. That said, I believe fighting alongside the Warrior of Darkness would be a valuable experience for them. Peace can lead to complacency, and they gain nothing from an easy victory. But you do not underestimate your foes, however harmless they may seem. My men would do well to learn from your example.
Alright, let's be about it then.
Excellent. Then let us make for Fort's job.
I'm really glad that we're hanging out with Lena more, because I was kind of worried that after 5.0 she'd kind of go the same way as Hilda, right? These characters that are, I wouldn't say super central, but very kind of compelling during the 0.0 that just kind of like get left by the wayside in the 0.x patches. New base tribe is interesting too. Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited to get in on that as well. At least Hilda's in the Machinist quest, that's true. That's fair. The Sin Eaters that remain no longer have, the Sin Eaters that remain no longer have a leader to guide them. Bit of a syntax issue there for me. But they are no less dangerous. They cannot be suffered to live.
If you would wait here a moment, I will gather the others. You may not remember, but you have met these soldiers once before, though only in passing. Long have they awaited the opportunity to fight at your side.
I was at death's door that day after the Sin Eaters attacked. If you and yours hadn't come along, I'd likely stepped through. And I wouldn't have been alone. Your courage and selflessness is something we all aspire to. I too was there that terrible day. My friend was transformed into a Sin Eater before my very eyes, and I had no choice but to cut her down. The thought of returning to the field of holding a blade again filled me with dread. But that is no way to honor her or my comrades. And so I have returned. I swear I will not let you or anyone else down from this day forward. A pleasure to meet you, sir. Truly. Seems like only yesterday I watched as you took flight astride an Amaro to go and save the Oracle. Strange to think that you Moran soldiers we once locked blades with are now on our side. We'll do our utmost to keep peace here in Lateland. We seem to be missing one. My apologies, Captain Lena. An elderly gentleman asked that I escort him to Clearmelt. It took longer than I anticipated. I will not begrudge your desire to help those in need, but a soldier must be punctual, especially when we play host to honored guests. It won't happen again. The name's Thaler. I'm sure you don't remember, we met once in the infirmary. Oh yeah, I remember this. I asked you to deliver a message to the Exarch and the Warrior of Darkness. Little did I know I was already talking to him. Don't give up. Don't give in. I keep those words close to my heart, and the boundless, beautiful skies above serve as a reminder of their importance. My friend got to see the Knight's return shortly before he passed. He left this word with a smile, satisfied with a glimpse of what was to come. But there are countless others who weren't so fortunate. They gave their lives to the promise of a future they'll never know. And so it falls to us to do everything we can to fulfill that promise. No matter what happens, we won't give up. We won't give in. Alright. Your heroism has inspired all of our guardsmen in much the same manner. Our scouts at the northern staging point have not had the pleasure of meeting you in person. Let us not keep them waiting. You wonder why Lise wasn't called? See, I mean, obviously for like narrative purposes, if we're gonna talk about like the meta there, I was under the impression that basically it was kind of a roll of the dice, and that eventually everyone that was close to us was gonna end up being called one by one. That it was basically if Grahard didn't get it right soon enough, it was only going to be a matter of time before it was Lise. Hey, we haven't seen this model before. This is the same model as the final boss in Fractal. Now that is interesting. Oh, we've seen him in Mount Golg, really? Interesting. Yeah, I guess they already killed it, huh? If I hadn't seen him with my own eyes, I'd have sworn it was you who killed that Sin Eater. Yeah, Sid wasn't called. Yeah, there were lots of people that weren't. You know, all the B-list scions. Rabom. You know, we're pretty close with him.
Did you slay this Eater? Your orders were to await the main force before engaging.
No, Captain. It wasn't us, I swear it. A man came out of nowhere and cut it down before we knew what was happening.
By himself? Certainly it is no Light Warden, but nevertheless.
It's true. Felled it with a single swing of his axe, he did. I've never seen anything like it. So I says to him, who are you, the warrior of bleeding darkness? And he says, no, I'm a warrior of light. And that was it. I got off as quick as he came.
A warrior of light? Why would someone go around calling himself that, though? It was those bastards who caused the flood. I mean, if you were going to pretend to be anyone, it'd be him, the warrior of darkness.
Hey? Oh, I didn't know. It's an honor.
I'm sure it is. No, I haven't done Ruby Weapon yet. No, we'll be getting to that soon enough.
Since the Eater is no longer a threat, our work here is done. Return to your posts.
Is it though, Lena? Like, is it really?
I had hoped to fight at your side today, but I'll continue to follow your example. And may we meet again.
Alright, so I just want to put it out there before we get the answers here.
For the wasted journey. It seems I overestimated the threat.
So we can kind of see whether I was right or not. And don't tell me, because we're going to find out in a minute. But I was like 100% certain that this was Elidibus possessing Albert's body. Elidibert. Alright?
As for this warrior of light,
that's where I'm at.
I do not know who would be brazen enough to take that mantle for his own. Whatever it may once have meant, it is forever tainted by the association with the Flood. The Exarch told me the truth of Ardbert and his comrades' deeds, and I am aware they played some part in your own triumph. But to most, they are synonymous with the calamity that befell this world. Still, if this man is minded to destroy Sin Eaters, I may forgive him his unfortunate choice of alias. But that is neither here nor there. I thank you for accompanying me.
With that concluded, shall we return to the Crystarium? There is a proposal I should like to make.
Hey, nice, Hazelin. Thank you so much.
Forgive me. There is one more thing. A personal concern of mine. I had hoped you might have a moment to speak privately.
Take your time. I shall go on ahead.
Nah, Edible, that was Emmett. I mean, like, Elidibus also kind of talks down on La Habrea a lot. I have the impression that no one really liked La Habrea very much. He's a bit of a gas bag. And yes, everyone knows the Oracle stopped the Flood.
I will not mince words. This matter concerns the Exarch. Though his countenance belies his age, his demeanor never has. He has seen more than any man should and grown ever more weary with time. But I see I give the wrong impression. While it is true he attempted to open a letter with a salmon fillet the other evening, we are not here because I suspect his mind is deteriorating.
Wait, what? He attempted to open a letter with his salmon fillet. What? Oh man, I think it's so funny like how many people are so horny for the Exarch, and I constantly see fan art that's like basically depicting him as like young G'raha just with like a little bit of crystal on his skin. And I just want to remind people, like, he's old. He's like 130 years old. He's senile. He's an old man.
Nor do I believe him to be so maddeningly unconcerned by the prospect of his own death as he once was. Indeed, the opposite is true.
Actually, that's true. He is like 320 or 330 years old. He spent 200 of those years in stasis, though, so he's only aged like, you know, like biologically, he's like 120 or 130.
It is for this reason that I seek your advice. Since he returned from the Tempest, the Exarch is not as he was. He seems a different man, a younger man. I know not the details of his research, but when I saw him at work recently, there was a glint in his eye that I had never seen before. He looked happy. It was as if he had peered into the future and for the first time found joy there. Though it gladdens me to see him thus, I wonder if I should not keep my distance. I fear that my presence will only anchor him to the past, remind him of all the pain that came before.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. You know, we've got Lena saying like, oh, he's seen more than any man should ever see. But, she's a Vis, and 300 years is not... 300 years is like getting on for Vis or Viera. It's like you're getting old. But not to the point where you're looking at someone who's like 150 and saying like they've seen more than any man ever should. And that's an interesting question. So we know Graha was like, let's say like in his 20s, I think, when he was frozen. And there's been 100 years since he got over here. And the future Ironworks, they unlocked the Crystal Tower, and you know they probably spent like a decade sort of getting things ready there. So like yeah, he'd be sort of getting on to like 100, 140, 150. Yeah, she's pretty young. She is pretty young, but she also, I don't know. It's just interesting that she would kind of say that from a V's perspective. Anchors keep us where we are chosen to be. That's a little bit too esoteric for me. Let's be direct with her. I think she'll appreciate that.
Are you sure?
How long is a Vis Viera's lifespan? We're told kind of vaguely that like 3 times an Elizan or elf lifespan is a pretty like normal lifespan for them. So basically like 300 plus years.
Then perhaps
like
we
300 to
might remain
400 years.
As we have always been. What a relief.
So Lena is like
In
much
that
younger
case,
than that.
I will have to speak with him about the amount of time he is spending at work.
But she could still easily be like 80 or 90. Because, yeah, she's the Exarch's, like, adopted granddaughter. And presumably he had some hand in raising her. But, like, that could have been 100 years ago.
This research is important, I know. But if he refuses to consider his own health, I will have to consider it for him.
I just think it's interesting, like, that line in particular, she's saying, you know, he's seen more than any man should. When what he's seeing is, like, the equivalent of a Vis being in, like, their 30s. You know? It's just a weird line for, a character with such longevity to be delivering.
I will not keep you. You and your comrades have much to discuss. I will see the others back to their posts.
More than any man should. You mean she might be like specifically talking about non-Viera? Well, the thing is, like, we refer to all of the spoken races as man. Like when we say man, at least in Eorzea, and I'm pretty sure we've had a few instances here in Novrant as well, but when we say man, we're talking about all of the spoken races in general. Probably means what he's seen, not how much of it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. And so Liquid Snake, that's fair as well. I just think it's interesting. Alphino tells me a warrior of light has slain the Sin Eater. But frankly, I'm not sure what to make of this. Yes, I was hoping to speak with you about, On second thought, never mind. It would be rude of me to pry.
It's strange to think our hero, so beloved by the people, could be brought so low in so short a time.
Warriors of light, harbingers of the flood and all the world's woes. That this wanderer would so boldly claim their title is most curious indeed. An adventurer calling himself a warrior of light. Why would anyone tie themselves to the legacy of individuals held in such low regard in the first? The others were quite shocked to hear of what we found in Lakeland. Now that you're here, there is a proposal I should like to make. I've been spending a great deal of time in the Cabinet of Curiosity, and of late I've noted more and more people perusing books on history, the years leading up to the Flood in particular. I suspect they wish to know more about the Warriors of Light, as well they should, but nearly everything I've come across describes them as sin-eaters or worse. Regardless of whether or not this Warrior of Light is who they claim to be, I worry that their sudden appearance in conjunction with this renewed interest in their predecessors may lead to growing unrest and fear. If the people of the Crystarium seek the truth, say we give it to them. I'm trying to remember now whether we are like forthright with the other Scions about Ardbert. Because it seems that every time Ardbert visits us throughout the MSQ, we're very kind of like, we sort of keep it to ourselves. And at the end, when people are like, hey, what happened? We're kind of just like, we just had like a little bit of help from a friend. So I'm not even sure that the other Scions like fully understand what our connection with Ardbert is. I too can attest to the falsehoods found within full many of the Cabinet's tomes, with nary a mention of the noble deeds of Ardbert and his comrades. To be fair, they bear some responsibility for the Flood. When the tale is told again and again over the course of a century, I'm not surprised to see their roles distorted and then painted as villains. Yeah, we mentioned he helped us, yeah. Were it not for the records stored within the Crystal Tower, I would have had no reason to question the narrative. Unfortunately, that knowledge was of no use. When I arrived here in the first, their reputation had already been irreparably tarnished. That said, there still remained those who worked tirelessly to defend their good name those early days following the Flood. Considering all the good they had done, I find it a wonder they needed defending at all. They brought to justice the man who misused my knowledge to bring about the fall of Vobert. That such heroes could be spoken of in the same breath as sin-eaters is absurd. Under normal circumstances, I would agree. But as time passed, those who knew firsthand their deeds dwindled. In the end, only one truth remained. They were the cause of the Flood. With the world on the brink of oblivion, it was all too easy for the Warriors of Light to become villains deserving only of resentment and hate. At that point, the truth mattered little. It would not change their lot. Thanks to all of you, however, their lot has changed. Now they may heed the long-forgotten truth. You claimed it was Ardbert who helped you overcome Emmett Selk, correct? Alright, well there you go. Such a revelation would do well to sway the hearts of those who know him only as a villain. I think that, like, in canon, our character probably doesn't understand what happened between us and Ardbert either, necessarily. Like, we're told pretty unambiguously that we share the same soul, but I think the idea of us rejoining to him is probably, like, a little bit lost on us. I have shared this with a select few, but one and all must be told of his sacrifice. Oh, that seems like bad timing. To that end, I say we proceed with Alphino's plan. We call together the people of the Crystarium and recount to them the true tale of the Warriors of Light and the Flood that followed in their wake. Well, what say you, Ethys? See, me having an idea of what's coming, I want there to be an option being like, hey, maybe let's like investigate this dude first, real quick. Just before we go jumping the gun, maybe let's do some investigation. In hindsight, I agree. Better late than never, no? Exarch, might I ask you to continue working with Beck Lug on our means of returning home? The rest of us will see to gathering the people of the Crystarium and the Exedra. We have to reach out to anyone and everyone who might be willing to lend an ear. With any luck, word will spread, and more will accompany them. Yeah, what if... Yeah, exactly. What if we do like Riange and just don't tell anyone anything and just like try and, you know, keep our hand on the ball?
I've seen many a great and terrible thing in my long life, as has the Exarch, no doubt. As a man, I can say this. His memory is short, his heart fickle. Let us pray that your words reach him.
There can be no darkness without light. So it was that Ardbert was there in your hour of need. People must be told. Hey, Kivrin, thank you very, very much for 21 months. Wow. Wowee. Thank you so much. Let me quickly add something here. You need to turn that down. Okay, there we go. Cool. Do you ever think we'll see Heidelin and Zodiac outside of their crystal form in this expansion? Well, I mean, E8S is a Heidelin Primal. It's like phase shifting between a Shiva Primal and a Heidelin Primal, so I guess that counts. And E7S is like, I haven't done that final quest, that post MSQ quest of Eden yet, but E7S is like the essence of Zodiac that was contained within Gaia, as far as I know right now. So yeah, like E7 and E8.
Ethys! My, what a wonderful surprise! Though I hope you being here doesn't mean someone's been hurt. Thanks to you, I've had far fewer patients coming through my door of late. It is a shame, come to think of it. I've had fewer opportunities to test my new medicines. I jest, of course. It's actually been quite pleasant to have a few moments to myself now and then. The truth about the Warriors of Lights, but the Exarch has already spoken with me about them. Well, if there's more to the tale, I'd very much like to hear it.
Hey, Kazuki, thank you very much for 23 months, my friend. Holy crap. That's very generous. Thank you so much. Alright, looks like we need to speak to Draghi. And who's that going to be down there? Did I like the Shiva fight? Yeah, the Shiva fight is fantastic. It's phenomenal. And I spent so long commentating E8S, I feel like by the time I get up to there, myself, I'm just gonna be like, motor memory. I feel like I already have all those mechanics on lockdown, just from spending like 15 hours analyzing them.
Come to browse wares in the market, have you? Well, I can guarantee you will have no trouble finding what you need, whatever it may be. Under Yulmo's new leadership, trade has been more prosperous. What I mean to say is, Khajiit has wares, if you have coin. Word is that little fellow from Daedalus Stoneworks has taken over as mayor. Did he really? Little wonder business is booming the way it is. I imagine it won't be long before all of Novrant reaps the benefits. But you've not come to talk about the market. Something on your mind? I see. The Exarch did mention they had something to do with your returning the knight to Novrant. Alright, consider my interest piqued.
Alright, hell yeah, dude. How on earth did you not connect Hrothgar Ronso with Khajiit? They're literally just buff Khajiit. Most of them are just swole Khajiit. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Whatever it is, I must ask you to be brief. With the night return, visitors have been flocking to the Crystarium, and I find myself too busy by half. I don't mind it, though. Seeing the stairs so full of life and excitement, one can almost forget the flood ever happened. The truth about the Warriors of Light? You already told me all there is to know, didn't you? Well, if there's more to their story, I'd love to hear it. Maybe I can compete with Ciela in regaling patrons with stories of their heroism. Perhaps I'll even inspire a few aspiring adventurers. You know, I was wondering if Ciela was going to have something to do with this, right? Because I would have thought that Silva would absolutely want to like stick her head out and work out what was going on if Arbit suddenly reappeared. How fare you of late? Still tending to the bar, cleaning up after drunkards and Glynard. Is the punishment you had in mind? I struggle to fathom a harsher fate. In all seriousness, I've been making it. Yeah, okay, she doesn't have any new dialogue there. Okay. That is very interesting. Alright, we need to get up to the crystalline meme. Hi Void Spark, how you doing? In Elder Scrolls lore, there are breach of Khajiit that are literally swole. Oh hell yeah. Well, there you go. Crystalline meme. Yeah, sure, that's what I said, yeah. She gets one later, so check again. Okay, yeah, I'll check with her after we're done with the MSQ here. Well, what a coincidence. I was just reading over a letter I received from Grenold not long ago. He says a visitor from the Crystarium found him at the bottom of the ocean, and that he inspired him to reach new artistic heights. Well, I can only think of one person capable of both feats, though I'd say the latter is far more impressive. I think fate could bring the two of you together in such a place. How the fuck did you get a letter to you? I'm sorry, you mean the Exarch didn't tell us the whole story of the Warriors of Light? Well, whatever he's left unsaid, I'm all ears. Alright, and down in the cabinet, it's presumably going to be Moran. Oh yeah, once you've done all the role quests, dialogue is very different. Hi Pingu. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm alright.
No, this can't be. Surely there is at least one book here that does not cast the Warriors of Light and their deeds in such a negative light. Oh, Ethys, forgive me. The Cabinet of Curiosity has been bustling with visitors of late, but I fear our repository lacks for the knowledge they seek. And I'm afraid I'm also all out of crayons and coloring books for you today, so you'll have to forgive me for that. People wish to know the truth of the flood of the Warriors of Light. I've searched high and low, but alas, every account portrays them as no better than sin-eaters, abominations worthy only of scorn and resentment. I know they were not always judged so harshly, yet I can find no proof, and I dare call myself a librarian. You would address the people and tell them the truth of the Warriors of Light, of the flood? How wonderful! You have regaled me with the tale once before, but I should love to hear it again. Oh, and you may rest assured I will not come alone.
Alright, hell yeah. Okay, back up to the Exidra. Yeah, they've basically got like no Tales of Chungo in that library. It's a shit library. It's good to see the people of the Crystarium so eager to learn the truth. And with this newfound knowledge of the past, they will at last be able to look to the future with eyes unclouded. And guys are very optimistic. Again, like, no one's at all suspicious about this dude that, like, one-shot a super powerful sinner, you know, wandering around calling himself the Warrior of Light. It's just me. Those I spoke with at the orchard and the rookery were quite keen to hear what we have to say. For as much hope as they have for the future, the scars of the past still weigh heavy on them still. There you are. Between the four of us, I dare say we've sweat the Crystarium from top to bottom. Now we need but wait for the people to gather. Uh-oh.
Yes, this looks to be nearly everyone. Let us begin, shall we? Though I am usually the first to hold forth at such events, I think on this occasion that honor should fall to you.
What? Really? You're gonna let me tell this story?
They would be more inclined to take the word of the Warrior of Darkness.
Wow, okay.
Indeed. In light of the subject matter, who better than thee to speak these truths?
Is this gonna be like a lore knowledge minigame where we can just like get this completely wrong? I like that we skipped the bits about them coming to Eorzea and trying to kill us and
White.
everyone here.
The Warriors of Light did all that?
So they never... I mean, they only ever wanted to help. And when everything they'd done turned to ash, they still carried on.
They gave everything to stop the flood. First their lives, then their souls. And they managed it too. In the end, they saved us. And we cursed their names.
I feel like Silva should be telling this story. Because that's what she's been trying to
This
do.
should go a long way towards clearing the air.
Like, that's what she's been doing since we finished the role quest. She's been hanging out in the bar trying to tell everyone this story. Oh no. This was a bad idea.
Impossible. I definitely see something. You don't think it's a ghost, do you?
Nay, yonder standeth no bloodless apparition, but a warrior of light and darkness both. Ardbert.
What in the world?
It's you! The one who slew the Eater!
That it should be the Warrior of Darkness who brought the truth to light. You've saved me a fair bit of time, though I have a few words of my own to say, if I may.
No, no.
People
You
of
may
the
not.
Crystarium, I am Ardbert, One of those you know as a warrior of light.
No, no, no. Someone shut him up.
You should be dead.
Someone shut him up. Someone tackle him or something.
But as the world has been given new life, so too have I. I know not why I, and I alone, have been gifted this chance. But I do know this. Only by the will of the star itself could such a miracle come to pass.
Oh, the will of the star, huh?
The hero who stands before you now, the warrior of darkness, is not of this world. And the day will come when he must return to his home. But this land is our home. And if it is to remain so, now and forevermore, it is we who must protect it. The time to rely on saviors from afar has passed. It is you who must rise. You who must become the new warriors of light.
What? Us? Warriors of light?
Oh. No, no, no.
None of us were born heroes, my friend. I was only ever a man with a thirst for adventure.
Oh, this is really
But
bad.
wherever my journeys took me, I was invariably confronted with the same choice. To lend what aid I could to those in need, or not. And I always chose the former. Any one of you could do the same. All you need is the will to help your fellow man, and the resolve to see it through.
Well, the problem now is that, as far as I understand, Albert's soul can't talk from within us anymore. Because it's not his soul within us or his soul following us around. He's rejoined with us. Like, his consciousness doesn't exist anymore. But it would be interesting to get his insight here, wouldn't it?
From thine own lips did we learn of Ardbert's fate, and by thy countenance I gather thou art not inclined to recant thy testimony. Yet whosoever this man may be, his words hold truth and resonate with the citizenry besides. For us to voice our doubts here and now would serve but to sow disquiet. 'Twere better we retired unto the ocular and there discuss this matter in private.
Go. I will stay here and watch.
This really frustrates me. This was a really, really bad oversight by all the Scions. You hear about this guy who's wandering around Lakeland, one-shotting crazy powerful sin eaters, calling himself the Warrior of Light. And we don't think to investigate it before holding this symposium?
So, that is a Warrior of Light of the First.
It just seems like a real kind of failure in the otherwise, I don't know. It just feels like Urianger in particular has kind of dropped the ball here a little bit.
I've not had the pleasure of making his acquaintance, but as you all seem to be in agreement, I gather this is no simple case of mistaken identity.
Heroes of Boredom, I hate that. I hate that theory. I'm not about that.
As far as I was able to discern, that was indeed Ardbert. It has been a long time, but not that long. Could he truly have been resurrected as he claims?
Looks like him, it sounds like him, but it isn't him. This should be so obvious.
Ardbert did entrust his very soul unto thee. I see no reason to question thy judgment.
Okay, so Urianger understands that we've been rejoined. Even if we don't. Of course he does.
Nor I. To my eyes, your ether burns as brightly as the day you slew Emmett Selk. That is proof that he is with you still.
Yet that which standeth now before the people is far more than a passing imitation. I am reminded of the cardinal virtues, though a sin-eater he is not. Which leaveth but one plausible explanation.
That he is an Ascian.
Given their fondness for posthumous possession, I would have to agree.
Okay. Even though they slipped up there, I'm glad that they do reach that conclusion immediately.
From what I understand, the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore by those whom they had aided in life. At the time, some few still remembered them as heroes.
Are we gonna go dig up a body again?
Needless to say, 4 of them were subsequently exhumed to serve as the virtues.
Mm-hmm.
And if one knew where to look, Ardbert too would not have been difficult to find.
Assuming then that this is indeed the work of an Ascian, my mind inevitably turns to the last remaining paragon to survive the Sundering.
Yes. Pickles, no, he's not the only Ascian left, but he's the only unsundered one.
Elidibus. That Xenos hath reclaimed his own flesh is known. Thus evicted from his borrowed form, and cognizant no doubt of Emetzelk's failure here in the first, 'tis quite possible the emissary chose Ardbert for his next vessel.
Inhabiting the flesh of the fallen. My, that is unsavory. And they do this often, you say?
No. Beklug is not female. Beklug is not gender. The Pneumo and the Pixies and the Fua, as far as we know, are genderless. They're gender neutral.
Verily, for they possess no corporeal forms of their own. In what one may term their natural state, none save those gifted with the echo can perceive them. Indeed, when Elidibus intruded upon the waking sands, his presence did go unmarked by all save Minfilia and the Warrior of Light.
Ooh, that is a big callback there. That's 2.1 we're seeing.
On that occasion, I myself remained ignorant of his coming until after his departure. It was only at a later juncture, when he deigned to appear before me in borrowed flesh, that I was finally able to take the measure of him. In such puppetry do the Ascians engage when they seek to influence the course of history.
And they have gained much by it. Emetzelk single-handedly built the Garlean Empire in this manner, while La Hebrea came close to conquering Eorzea, having taken possession of Thancred's living body.
Yet it must needs be noted that the Ascians cannot avail themselves of all mortal vessels. For were they able to do so, none would serve as a better pawn than our own redoubtable champion.
Mm-hmm. Which begs the question, Ardbert had the Echo as well. And that's presumably what's shielding us. So, it's only the fact that his soul isn't in his body. I mean, same with Xenos, right? Yeah, so that must be it. Must be only if our soul's not in our body. So that means, like, if we died... so, like, in this future 8th Umbral era... I'm surprised that an Ascian wasn't, like, running around in our body. After we died.
Mayhap the blessing of light shieldeth Hydaelyn's chosen from Ascian influence. Or mayhap other forces are at work. We cannot say for certain.
Whatever the reason, I hope it holds true. I dare not contemplate what might come to pass otherwise.
Is it not peculiar, then, that Ardbert's mortal remains should be susceptible, given that he was once a warrior of light? Or did the final departure of his soul make it possible, perhaps?
Yes. Alright, there we go. You still had the same thoughts. Yeah, you know, learning this, I would be burning like every dead Echo user.
Regardless, to hear an Ascian use him to call forth new warriors of light boggles the mind.
But even that doesn't necessarily help because we know the Ascians can like reform their bodies to look like whatever the hell they want.
Elidibus hath ever been an enigma, his ostensible purpose being to preserve the balance between light and dark. When he made overtures towards me, however, I was afforded a glimpse behind the mask of the self-appointed emissary.
Remembers his body for 100 years buried.
I shall not defend mine actions, undertaken in pursuit of a better understanding of our foe as either wise or prudent. Nevertheless, what little I did glean may now prove useful. Elidibus possesseth a subtle mind, practiced in the art of manipulation. That he coaxed this star's most valiant heroes as far as the source with naught save half-truths is no trifling feat. And now I believe he doth employ his skills once more to some as yet unknown end. Though naught is certain, should my suspicions prove true, we shall have need of all our wits if we are to uncover and thereafter thwart his plot.
That said, Ranger, we've got to assume that Elidibus knows that we know, right?
Agreed. 'Tis plain that simply speaking out against him will not avail us. At best, it would only serve to confuse the people.
Alright, so we go kill him.
And I would hesitate to do anything which might tarnish Ardbert's reputation once more, nor yours by association. That being the case, it may be wise to keep a covert eye on this Ardbert's movements, as we attempt to discern his purpose and how best to mitigate his influence.
His performance appears to have concluded. What now? Go back out and follow him?
Twould appear Master Alphino already hath pursuit in mind, and I suspect one pair of eyes shall better serve our cause than half a dozen. Let the rest of us maintain an inconspicuous distance, for the present at least.
Be careful, Alphino. We'd have to get him alone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't mean just like go out there and kill him in front of everyone. Hey Sagittarius, I really hope that's not a spoiler because I haven't finished 5.2 yet and I don't know whether we kill Elidibus in this patch or not. So let's save like post 5.2 speculations for when I'm done with it, please. They must not act until Ardbert hath made plain his plans. It would be folly to proclaim him false at this juncture. Hey Timelude, thank you very much for the resub. How you doing, mate? What's going on? What's going on? We were a hair's breadth from defeat when we faced Emmett Selk, and now we must contend with yet another Ascian. We must tread carefully.
What a despicable practice, appropriating corpses. Such depravity eclipses any horrors I witnessed in the age of Vobert. It must be stopped.
I concur, let's get to it. Asleep disturbed. Oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah! Let's do it! Did well to dispel the falsehood surrounding the Warriors of Light and their actions prior to the floods. Yeah, the timing was garbage. It was really, really bad, you guys. Priorities. Though I must say the reappearance of Ardbert, or rather one who appropriated his identity, is a rather curious development. He's an imposter, of that there is no doubt. But to the masses he will appear as a hero returned from the grave.
After the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore, the people prayed fervently for the gods to deliver them from their plight. Prayed that these fallen heroes be born again for their sacrifices. What bitter irony.
I, for one, would like to know why Albert urged the people to become warriors of light themselves. To get things back towards the flood of light, Y'shtola. So he can make them summon, like, a Hydaelyn Primal or some shit and recause the flood of light, you dingus. Ere we take action, we must needs ascertain his intent. Let us pray that Master Alphino return as soon with that most essential knowledge. For now, I think it best to apprise Thancred and Reen of our efforts. When we do confront Albert, we shall no doubt have need of their strength. Agreed. I think it prudent that we all take measures to prepare for what's to come. Beck-Luke and I will continue our research into how we might improve the spirit vessel that might one day carry you home. Then I think it time I return to the Greatwood. Until now, everything we have learned of the Ascians has been handed to us at their leisure. That was one of Emmett Selk's unique failings. I have no reason to think Elidibus will be as forthcoming. No, Elidibus hasn't told us shit. Fortunately, I recently received word from Fanov that heretofore unexplored chambers have been discovered deep within the Katana Ravel. Yes! Yes! Let's do it! Yes! Almet believes the relics within tell of a great calamity that befell an ancient civilization. That of the Ascians, perhaps. They may lead us to the truths we seek. Oh yeah, let's do it. I wouldn't dream of going without you. When you're ready, make for Fanov. Almet and her sisters will be expecting us. Oh man, I'm so excited to get back into Ronka. Then let us be about our tasks. Pray give my regard to the V's. Oh, hell yes. Though I would like to join you in untangling the Ascians' machinations, I think it best I stay here and devote my energies to finding a way to deliver the Silence back onto the source.
I will help the Exarch in any way I can. The key to solving our problems lies with him and the Allagan Eye.
Alright. Alright. Oh, hell yeah, I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for this. Let us pray these new ruins are not as unwelcoming as their last.
The Allies of Ronka! My, it feels as if an age has passed since you last graced us with your presence. You look as if you haven't seen us in an age. Is the passage of time really all that different for you elves?
Okay, interesting juxtaposition between the two of them there.
Welcome, Allies of Ronka. We have accomplished much since you last came. With the Light Warden's dead and its minions dispersed, we have at last reclaimed our hunting grounds near Rak'tika Falls. It was there that we discovered more ruins. Although we ran afoul of no traps while exploring its halls, we determined that the innermost chambers were warded by magic. We were all in agreement. Before any investigation could proceed, you should be summoned. We are grateful that you did. From what you have told me, I strongly suspect that the wisdom my comrades and I seek can be found within. This wisdom could prove invaluable, but we may soon face a foe whose greatest asset is our ignorance. I see. Then it is good that you have come, for Ronka was once home to the greatest of weapons, knowledge and understanding. And it is our duty to ensure you and yours do not want for either. That said, we must proceed with caution. To have reached the inner chambers unmolested suggests a more formidable deterrent yet lies within. Come now, surely any threat sleeping within the ruins pale in comparison to those we have faced thus far. This is not a game, sister.
You should not be so eager to run headlong into danger. Oh, and who is pining for the return of our allies, that we might venture into the ruins, clutching her staff at night, wishing it were... You promised not to tell. Oh my. Then I suggest we be going. And get back here. Remind me, exactly how old are you and your sisters? On second thought, perhaps it's better I do not know. Pray forgive their overzealous nature. None save we three have been privileged to escort you and yours into the ruins and bear witness to its secrets. Their hearts now burn with a curiosity that is not easily satiated. Please, you needn't apologize. As a seeker of knowledge myself, I understand full well their enthusiasm. And if not for your sedulous efforts to protect the ruins, would not be afforded this opportunity. Speaking of which, I believe I have kept you away from the ruins long enough. Come, let us make for the Katana Ravel. Another wall-sexual character. Man, every character in this game is so horny for the warrior of light/darkness. You know, like, some people speculate that perhaps there are no, I guess, like, confirmed shippings in the game is to allow, like, the fandom to sort of speculate on their own and have fun with that. But I just think it's just because everyone's, like, super horny for the Warrior of Light. Even Emmett Selk was taken aback to find a mural illustrating the final days in these ruins. What other surprises do you suppose yet lie within? I feel oddly ill-equipped to venture inside. With you here, I'm sure things will work out. Lahi. Ready when you are. It is most strange for these halls to be left unguarded. Have care when breaking the seal on the chamber door. Danger surely awaits us on the other side. It is recommended you set aside sufficient time to view... Oh, hell yeah, here we go. Let's do it.